What's going on, guys? It's Isaiah back with another video. And this one we're going to be talking about one of my favorite guitars out of my collection, the PRS DGT. So a few months ago, I've made a video about why I was thinking about selling my PRS single cut, the SC245 10 top that I had. I believe it was maybe a 2003. And I did end up getting rid of that guitar. And one of the things I mentioned in that video is that out of the models I was looking at to replace it, I was heavily considering the DGT. Not too long after that, a DGT became available locally inside of this really cool iris purple color, which this is a discontinued color. You can't get a DGT in this color anymore, sadly. I fell in love with it the moment I looked at it, but then I played it and I was not digging it, like honestly. I picked it up, it had 11s on it, kind of high action, the bridge was a little messed up, and you know it had the Grissom wiring, which we'll get into later. But after changing a lot of things about this guitar internally, setup wise, this has become my #1 live use guitar. Most times when I do a gospel event, most times when I do a church event, every Sunday, every gig, you're gonna see the DGT. It's always in the lineup every single time because of how much I love this guitar. So we're going to talk a little bit about the specs, which I'm going to be reading directly off of Sweetwater. If you don't mind, I'm going to be putting on the glasses and we're going to see what it does. Yeah, your boy is blind, unfortunately. I try to not do these videos with the glasses on just because of the amount of glare that's going on. As far as reading, I can't see anything that's like further than this away from me, so I gotta do it. So the guitar has a mahogany body, has a maple cap, of course, usual core series PRS thing, high gloss nitro finish, mahogany neck. It has a specific neck shape by DGT that's very similar to the McCarty. Has a 10-inch radius that you got going on. This one has a nice rosewood fingerboard, nice and dark. I love how that looks. I love how that feels. We have the half moon crescent inlays. We'll try to get a close-up of that for you guys. 25-inch even scale length, 1.655 nut width with the bone material. This one has your PRS phase 3 tuners locking. Very good tuners. I love them a lot. This one has your David Grissom tremolo bridge. We're going to get into that later. It's really nice. 2 volumes, master tone that also doubles as a push-pull. It has the 3-way toggle like a Les Paul. And this one comes with a hard case, which is awesome since, you know, depending on what you're getting American from PRS, some of them are going to come with the softy and some of them comes with a hard case. And this is indeed one that comes with a hard case. So that's the specs. So I'm going to get into my personal experience and just talking about how it's been long-term having this guitar. So this guitar has an interesting concept. David Grissom is a PRS artist, long time. He's been working with PRS for decades at this point. And his signature guitar is pretty much a fusion of, like, I don't want to say everything that a session guitarist needs, but it has like so much versatility when you can only bring one. And I think that's what this guitar is really about. It's all about the concept of you can only bring one. And I just want to point out some of the awesome stuff about this. This guitar was based off of the McCarty PRS guitar, designed by Ted and designed by Paul. It's like a love letter to the Les Paul with the PRS format. But David had some things that he needed different from the McCarty. One of the things that he did differently was the scale length. We stepped away from that 594 and we had the full 25 PRS scale length alongside the tremolo to go with it, which this is an amazing tremolo. Like, honestly, it's just impressive how much you can get away with this being non-locking and it still stays in tune, and it just feels really good and floats really well. It's very reminiscent to the feeling that you get when you're floating on a Bigsby or you're floating on a Jazzmaster, but the guitar stays in tune, and I just really love that about this guitar. It has that nice thick neck shape. It's somewhere around that Les Paul like 50s style neck shape, maybe just a tad bit thinner, but it's a really good feeling neck for me. I'm a huge fan of thicker neck shapes. Usually guitars like wizard neck style guitars aren't really my thing. The guitar has 2 humbuckers, and these are DGT specific pickups. They sound amazing. They sound like just this nice vintage growl. You know, it can be really present in the bridge, but it can also be really dark in the neck depending on what you need. And they split coils so surprisingly well that I wouldn't say that you could replace your Strat with this. You can only bring one. This is definitely going to get you through a set once you have the bass mixed in and the keys mixed in and all that types of stuff. Honestly, I was so thoroughly impressed with this guitar and everything that it does, and it's surprisingly not as heavy as you think it would be. With the full body and the maple cap, guitars like this tend to weigh like a ton, and they can be really comfortable. It's definitely going to be heavier than the Stramberg that we reviewed not too long ago, but this is surprisingly something I was easily able to deal with. And it just, the shape that PRS chooses for their guitars, it's just very comfortable. It does this as well as the Stramberg, but obviously this isn't a Stramberg. But this is probably my second favorite guitar to play guitar like this with, because it feels a lot better than doing this with a Strat per se or with the SG. It feels a little more natural with how it's contoured, and also it's just very even. Like, I never really talked about this when it comes to this channel and reviewing guitars, but standing up and playing this guitar with a Strat is insanely even. Like, I'm gonna try to do a comparison. It's gonna be kind of extreme because I'm gonna use my SG and I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna let you see how far the neck drops, and you can see how uneven that guitar is balanced versus this DGT. When I let go of that neck, the guitar literally goes nowhere. It literally goes nowhere. It's the craziest thing I've seen in a guitar that has a head on it. It still has a headstock, and it's just thoroughly impressed. And there's just not enough good things I can say about the player experience of the DGT. If I could think of some of the negatives about owning this guitar, let me get them to you right now. This guitar, mine specifically, if you guys did not know, I live in the bottom side of the United States. I'm very, very, very south. If you couldn't tell, always doing gigs in Florida. Very, very, very south. It gets hot. It rains a lot. This neck moves more than any other guitar that I own. Even more than the SG, this neck moves. Pretty much every single time that I'm picking up this guitar, I have to tune it. There's not going to be a time where I pick up this guitar and not have to tune it, which is okay because I tune guitars before I start playing them anyway. Every time, it's just an instinct, a second nature. But I know that's something that bothers people, so I definitely wanted to express it and let you guys know that about this guitar. Another thing isn't really the guitar's fault, but it's just kind of the reality of what it is. This is a $4,000 guitar. They make an $850 version of this guitar, and it's like, allegedly, I've never played it myself, but it's allegedly like in the 95% the same thing type of category. So when you're paying this much more just to have an actual flame maple cap, American pickups and wiring and stuff like that, you really got to ask yourself, is it worth it? And not only that, anything that happens to this guitar, you're going to feel bad about it. If you were using the SE DGT and somebody bumped into you while you were playing, you're going to be like, that's annoying, but whatever. If somebody bumps into you while you're playing this guitar, you're like, what is wrong with you? Like, are you good, bro? Like, hold up. It's a lot of money invested into the Core Series PRS guitar. And this isn't even a 10 top, and it's $4,000. It's over $4,000. So bear in mind the type of attitude that you're gonna have with this guitar. Are you gonna play it? Are you gonna be fine with playing it, putting it on the road and beating it? Because I'll be honest, I get this guitar a beating. I dropped it. I dropped it, and I had to get a wood repair within like the first week or so of owning it, and I felt extremely bad about that. And that's just something I want to detail to let you guys know. Like, owning this guitar is going to make you not want to play it because of how expensive it is and just fear of messing it up. They do make a cheaper version. The DGT SE is one of the most sold and loved guitars that's come out in recent years. I would love to get one on the channel and compare my American to the SE version one day. It's just not something I can do right now. Are there any other negatives that I could think of about this guitar? I might have to be honest here and just say no. I don't give guitars 10 out of 10s very often, but this guitar for me is actually a 10 out of 10 guitar. The neck shape is great for what I like to do. The pickups are great for what I like to do. The tremolo is great for what I like to do. I will say this is something I forgot about that I should let you guys know about. The David Grissom wiring is different than your usual custom 24 or pretty much anything else you will see in any other guitar. Since he's a bridge pickup guy and he wants to ride the volume on that, this guitar initially came with the bridge pickup volume being on the top and the neck pickup volume being on the bottom. That's very, very weird. I couldn't get used to it. I tried and I just couldn't get used to it. So one of the first things I did as a mod on any guitar, I just got these swapped. That's pretty much all I had happen. Is now the neck volume is the first one and the bridge volume is the second one. And now this is a ZGT or a IGT, whichever name you like to call me, depending on if you're YouTube native or if you're Twitch. So that's a thing that I definitely want you guys to know about. If you feel like you're not going to be comfortable with that, just had to let you know about it. It was very inexpensive just to get a tech to do that, honestly. And if you're buying core model from a store that has a tech to sell that guitar, there's a very high chance that they'll just go ahead and do it for you anyway. No additional cost. Maybe they'll ask for $100, but like if they work for the store that's selling it to you and you're about to buy a $4,000 guitar, there's a high chance they'll just be like, yeah, we can just do that real quick, you know, just to get the sale, you know, as long as you know for a fact that you want to keep the guitar. Yeah, that's kind of a fast one. I think this video is going to focus a little bit more on the tones that we can get out of this, the different sounds we can get out of this. I honestly can say that this is a 10 out of 10 guitar for me. This and the Strandberg Bold and Essential are kind of battling right now in terms of being my #1 guitar to just sit down and play, practice with, and gig with, and take it everywhere. This and the Bold and Essential. 10 out of 10 guitar. I currently don't have any complaints about it. If anything were to happen where I did have a complaint about it, I would let you guys know in the future. I would update you and tell you, but honestly, I've been playing this thing since the beginning of the year. So I waited 6 months to make this review and I still have no complaints about this guitar personally. It's just a 10 out of 10 guitar for me. But I appreciate you guys for checking out this video. If you would like to, you can check me out on Twitch and see me talk about this guitar, talk about other guitars, talk about guitars in general, while we also play games or we play music, whatever we're doing over there. It's usually a good time, so you should check it out. I appreciate you guys for always checking in. I appreciate you guys for 600 subscribers. That's crazy. I have no words. Just thank you so much. The little milestones do matter to me, and I appreciate that a lot. But this has been Isaiah signing out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.